And welcome to all you budget-minded people. This video starts with an overview of the expense reports to present the possibilities for how you can analyze your expenses. This is the year-to-date expense breakdown report. This is a month's end expense analysis comparing year-to-date expense amounts to last year's year-to-date expenses. You can customize the breakdown groups in Table 926 and the breakdown details in Table 927 to fit your budget needs. Some groups are pretty generic and will be useful in any budget. Details can be rearranged within groups to your preference. As an example, car loans are summarized separately from automotive, but they could be assigned within automotive while still maintaining separate loan interest paid in a different breakdown group. Expenses designated as noted provide a summary outside of the total expense. You could pay the mortgage and have a noted summary for only the escrow portion of the payment to help ensure you have the escrow funds to cover the escrowed expense when it comes due. You can see here this subtotal for the mortgage group does not include the noted amounts. Total expenses represent all expenses paid and outstanding. Subtracting credit card charges results in the total expenses paid. A future video will demonstrate how the report totals can be cross-validated. Expenses incurred during a month are not limited to what you pay. Most likely you are charging expenses which will carry forward to the next month, or even to the month after that as demonstrated in the Quick Start video. This is best explained on the monthly expense detail report. Page 1 of the expense detail report lists expenses paid and/or charged in date order. The column on the right, titled Account, details from which source the payment was made and by what means when using a checking account. Credit card charges that are due in the following budget period appear with an O for outstanding after the amount. Mortgages and loans are presented in the way they are entered, with or without details as presented in the Quick Start video. The amount due will only appear after the payee store description for a partial payment, which is also noted with a PP after the partial paid amount. The unpaid portion is carried forward to the next month as part of the estimate. That's a good reason to establish estimates at least 3 months in advance. Totals are for all expenses less credit card charges, resulting in the actual expenses paid. Expenses carried forward due to partial payment and/or credit card charges are also totaled separately. Page 2 summarizes expenses into breakdown groups. Similar to the year-to-date expense breakdown, all expenses paid and carried forward appear in the detailed breakdown codes from Tables 926 and 927, assigned in Table 922. This allows you to summarize expenses across payment sources. Whether you pay for gas with a credit card, write a check for repairs, or use a debit card for an oil change, all of those transactions can be summarized in one group. These budget details can be customized to understand the value you receive for the money you spend. You will be able to see the numbers for the necessities versus the unnecessities, such as the interest you pay on credit cards if you carry a balance. Such interest can be summarized in one of two ways. You can group interest together as one total expense, or separate the interest paid for each card to see which one is costing you the most. Now we'll look at how payments and partial payments are entered. In the Quick Start video, replacing an expense estimate with the actual amount due was suggested as a good way to keep your ending balance and disposable income amount up to date. It is necessary before entering payments. When entering a payment, the amount due is used in a calculation to determine if a partial payment is being made. Saving a partial payment will trigger the balance forward option, asking if you want to post that unpaid balance to next month's budget. For routine expenses, the balance forward amount will be added to the estimate for next month. The balance forward screen can also catch entry errors where the amount entered does not equal the amount due when it should. Canceling the balance forward entry will return to the payment entry screen so the correct amount can be entered. Return to the category summary display, advance to the next month, and look at utilities. The EB in the column titled Code indicates that a balance forward has been added to the estimate. The code will change to E when you update the estimate with the amount due prior to payment entry. The category Other/Miscellaneous contains payments for expenses where the payee can vary within a detail item. In the example budget, groceries is in this category because you can enter any store name to post an expense. This is useful if you shop around for certain items at specific stores. I generally pay for groceries with a credit card, but entering the estimate in groceries allocates the money for that expense. I reduce or eliminate the estimate in the groceries detail item as the charges are entered to a credit card. The miscellaneous detail item is where all other non-routine expenses are entered. Be sure to click on the applicable half of the month in which the expense is incurred. If you write a check or use a debit card to pay for car repairs, it gets entered in this category. The assignment of the breakdown code determines where it is summarized on the expense reports. While the breakdown code identifies a group for expense summary, an item can be specified separately from the payee by a slash. If you purchase a new furnace, the entry could be HVAC Company/new furnace. As you build history, you will be able to display the breakdown group and detail, and the display will show you when you bought that furnace and from whom. If you have school-aged children, you can create a new budget detail item in Table 922 to specify when certain school expenses are due. Enter an estimate of the cost to avoid surprises next school year. That's it for this video. The live Q&A begins now. Please post your questions in the chat window.